PettyLaBelle with tonight's breaking news. A street thug with a known history of marijuana use has been killed today after yet another run-in with law enforcement. The police officer, in fear for his life, had no choice but to fire his weapon. The hate group known as BLM has organized protests across the city due to alleged police brutality. Steer clear at the Lincoln Tunnel this evening as protesters are blocking traffic, creating a dangerous bottleneck situation during your evening commute. And don't even bother trying to catch the game when you do finally get home, as these disrespectful hooligans will be demonstrating their displaced anger toward the veterans of this country. Their job is to keep us entertained, not bombard us with tales of discrimination and bloodshed. They should be thankful we don't just send them right back to Africa. I mean, really, we pay you to run fast and catch the ball, not to question your masters, flag. In other news, several illegals have been apprehended by the ICE in an effort by our great president, Ronald Thump, to bring jobs back to actual Americans. We will finally be free of all these looting, evil rapists that... wrong. That's the wrong vote. Change the... Looting rapists that continue to plague our country. In international news, the polls are showing that public unrest within America is at an all-time high due to President Thump's inaction when it... Oh, I've just received a breaking news report. There has been another terrorist attack! These disgusting, godless animals! Wait. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. This is actually not terrorism, but the work of a troubled young man with a history of mental illness. This network begs you, please do not politicize this issue. Don't start talking about gun laws and gun reform and all that nonsense. There is nothing that we could have done to prevent this tragedy. All we can do in this difficult time is to send our thoughts and prayers to all those affected. In light of these new events, we will be pulling all of our reporters out of Puerto Rico. We'll see you back here at 6 p.m. with The Exclusive, where we talk to the family of the alleged gunman. Thank God it wasn't terrorism. God bless America.
Give me a P. Give me a E. Give me a T. T-Y. I'm petty all the time.
Yo, what is up, YouTube? Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of PettyLaBelle. This week was supposed to be on fake friends, but as you guys know, I can and will switch up the topic as needed when I got something weighing on my conscience that I gotta get out into the webosphere. First and foremost, my heart does go out to all of the victims and everyone affected by the most recent gun violence in Vegas. And to everyone being affected by all of the tragedies happening right now all around the world. I in no way intend to make light of any of these events, and there is seriously nothing funny about the many lives that have been taken way too soon as a result of these senseless acts of violence. The purpose of this video, as with all of my other videos, is merely to open up the dialogue, and hopefully through this particular dialogue, we can turn some of those thoughts and prayers into actual actionable resolutions. I'm tired of trending movements that matter until they don't. Feigned outrage after outrage, when nothing ever really seems to change. That passion always seems to eventually wane, and it takes yet another tragedy to rile everybody up again. I'm ready for it to stop once and for all. So today, we are gonna tackle one of the biggest debates of all time in this country. Do guns kill people, or do people kill people? Would harsher gun laws really change anything? Time for a petty pop-off. I'm gonna go ahead and address the top 3 reasons why we will never have harsher gun laws right here in America. 1. Control. We as a society need to always feel like we're in control. We need a face to blame. And we need that face to look the same every time. We need a plausible reason behind these senseless killings, or else we would be too afraid to even leave our houses every day. We need to believe that there was either nothing we could do or something that we could do right now, right this very second, to stop it from ever happening again. And since we can't ever all agree on the latter, we tend to go with the former every time. It's just one crazy person. It happened. No one could have seen it coming. He just snapped. I get it. The latest shooter, by all accounts, seemed hella normal. No one noticed anything awry. Maybe this guy really was one of those weird cases that no one could have done anything about. Harsher gun laws would have just slipped right on by. Maybe. But what I do know for sure is that it actually wouldn't hurt anyone who has guns for the right reason to implement tougher policies for getting them. Facing a reality that it was somehow entirely preventable would be a little too scary for us all to fathom. It would cause us to have to take ownership and responsibility for these events. And then we would lose all semblance of that control over our lives and our fates that we so yearn for. And so we say, guns don't kill people. People kill people. Miss me with that, people with guns kill people. And then some will try to throw statistics at you. Such a small percentage of people. And most of them are in the inner city. All those violent black folks. Tell that to Sweden, Germany, Italy, France, Finland. I could keep going. While we're at it, tell that to all of the people who have actually lost loved ones to gun violence. Tell them what a small percentage they are. Tell the hundreds of people who were just affected by a lone gunman who, if he had been subject to a background check, a psych evaluation, a police interview, or any of the other precautions that all these other countries have in place before you could buy even one gun, he would have likely never even had that many guns in the first place. So even if he had made the decision to hurt a bunch of people, it's possible that we could have prevented that violence from being so colossal. If we're really gonna talk statistics, statistically speaking, guns are more likely to hurt you than save you. The many men, women, and children that have died due to gun violence are a pretty small percentage compared to the 6 billion people on the planet. And if that's enough for you to be able to sleep at night, gun at your bedside, then I guess we can end the conversation right there. If you take away the gun, they'll just find another way to hurt people. Maybe so, but it's a hell of a lot easier to stop a speeding car moving through a crowd than it is to stop an automatic weapon with rounds and rounds of bullets firing at once. You can stop a knife-wielding madman way quicker than you can stop a Glock-wielding psychopath. The only thing that would maybe have as much of a lethal impact would be explosives. Luckily, they don't sell those at your neighborhood Walmart. Case in point, if only for the sake of at least minimizing casualties, even if not stopping them completely. Harsher gun laws seem like a pretty good step in the right direction. I'm confused as to why anyone would find that idea deplorable or threatening. 2. The secret militia. Regular God-fearing citizens should have a right to bear arms. The army of patriots. Bruh. This is the disturbingly large amount of Americans that will attest that if they take all our guns away, we will be unable to defend ourselves against threats foreign and domestic. Yet these same people that will fight to the death for their God-given right to bear arms are the ones that are the most offended at the peaceful protests going on during the national anthem at football games. So it doesn't really seem like y'all are about to be the ones to rise up against the monarchy or stand up to government tyranny anytime soon. You're too busy being offended at everyone that already is. And isn't that the whole reason why the NRA says it's necessary for private citizens to have easy access to guns? To maintain our freedom and keep this from becoming a police state. That ship has sailed. Sounds like a contradiction to me. Let me simplify this. Have you ever seen The Hunger Games, Harry Potter, Red 1984? If this were a blockbuster film, would you want President Snow to let the citizens all wither off and die just because they come from District 12, Puerto Rico? Or would you encourage Lord Voldemort to eliminate anyone who participates in any sort of uprising against him? Kaepernick. War vets who fought in actual wars and lost limbs and shit are dead kneeling with Kaepernick in solidarity. Meanwhile, white conservatives across America who have never stepped foot onto a battlefield are shouting from the rooftops about how perfectly flummoxed they are that anyone would have the nerve to go against the flag. This country wouldn't even exist were it not for the rebel rousers and anarchists that wanted to break free from the Union. Bet they didn't stand for the pledge either. If you're against any form of resistance when it comes to everything else, I don't really see why you need all those guns in this great country of ours. pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and for my guns I will forever stand, with firing ranges and weaponry for all. Right? But regardless, I'm not even talking about snatching all guns out of the hands of responsible gun owners or banning weaponry across America. I'm talking about making an assault rifle just a little trickier than it is to get a hold of right now. As of today, it's easier to get yourself an AK-47 than it is to adopt a child, enroll in a private university, get a driver's license, obtain health insurance, find housing. I mean, and if you really want all those guns for the right reasons, why would you be scared of a little background check full? And sure, criminals will be criminals. Harsher gun laws wouldn't make a bit of difference because the criminals would just break the law anyway. If people really want to get a hold of guns, they will. Y'all see how we did with the whole prohibition thing. But by that logic, why do we have any laws at all? You have a lot of nerve trying to go after the NRA and politicize this with your gun laws. Which brings me to my final reason. You need to stop politicizing everything. Stop calling anytime someone actually wants to do something plausible to prevent more bloodshed in the future talking politics. Bruh. The war on drugs made the government millions of dollars and gave cops an excuse to target highly susceptible inner city youth and minorities, and essentially re-enslave them through the only remaining legal means, the prison pipeline. Do you ever wonder why your neighborhood drug dealer never seems to actually ever get arrested or stay in jail if they do get arrested? Even though everybody knows they're the ones selling drugs. Everybody knows it's them. Guess he's the key to the chains, baby. Him staying in business is good for big business. The fight against cancer is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Including a pink ribbon in your branding alone is enough to hike up sales no matter what you're selling. Can you imagine the disruption that the insurance companies would face if they ever actually found a cure? Things that make you go, I'm just saying. And guns. Why has there never been a war on guns? Would it be better or worse for big politics if the NRA was no longer big business? If it wasn't the case that any Tom, Dick, or Harry could pick up a rifle at a gun show without so much as even showing ID. I'm truly not politicizing anything, just trying to figure out whose finger is really on the trigger. And I'm telling you, it isn't ever just a lone wolf. I implore you to take a good, long, hard look at what's really in front of you. You'll see there's a lot more at play here than just an isolated incident. If you refuse to see it, then it'll never change. It will take time to convince an entire culture of people that has grown accustomed to the prevalence of guns and violence that we really can limit that negative impact just by making it a little less available. It is possible, as seen by the rest of the world. But what do you guys think? Would harsher gun laws pave the way to a more peaceful, safe society? Would banning military-level weaponry finally bring tragedies like the ones we've seen in Aurora, Sandy Hook, and now Vegas to a screeching halt once and for all? Do you believe in all the conspiracy theories that are currently circulating saying that all of this stuff is entirely preventable and it was foreseen, but these things are allowed to happen to distract us from what's really right in front of us? Please remember that you can care about more than one thing at a time. Hashtag Puerto Rico. Don't let one tragedy distract you from the other. If we truly want to foment change, we have to catalyze ourselves from all sides and stay woke to it all. There's obviously so much more to this issue than could be covered in a single Petty Wop. So if you've got something more to add to the discussion, light up that comment section and let me know what you think. I'll include a few links to some articles that I also found extremely interesting and relevant to this topic. If you like these videos, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Insta, Facebook, Twitter, and if you really want to keep seeing this content every week, check out my Patreon page because it's your support that keeps PettyLaBelle moving. Don't forget to tune in next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. for Fake Friends. Until then, a Petty Wop on every block.
Yeah, you know I'm petty. I like to start some mess. Yeah, heard you don't like me. Yeah, but you don't wanna get down. You don't wanna post up when Kiki come around. Break it down now. P-E to the T-T-Y. P-E to the T-T-Y. P-E to the T-T-Y. I'm petty. Yeah, I'm petty.
Crucio. My name's Adrielle BowBelle, and you're watching Disney Channel.